Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to take a look at the Doctor Who Shaker Maker. As far as I can tell, this kit is nearly 20 years old and it's designed for children aged 5 and up. And as it says on the box, all you have to do to make these kits is to shake it. The list of content is displayed on the box, but it doesn't make it clear this is a plaster Paris kit or it's his own concoction. But it does show you an example of each kit completed, as well as a very happy boy painting them. Well, I guess the only way to figure out how this setup works is to get it open and have a look. Now, according to the box, this is made by a British company called Flair, but that's not a name I'm familiar with. Well, that's everything out of the box. Let's get rid of all the packaging so we can check out what we've got. Right, we have one lot of please box stickers for the TARDIS. We have a refill request form, which is purely for the mix, no extra stickers, so that's extremely useful. And then we have the step-by-step instructions, and these are fairly self-explanatory, especially if you've used plaster Paris before. And then we have the novelty Shaker Maker cup, and this weird purple tambourine is a drying stand. Next we have 6 basic craft paints which need mixing, and a single cheap basic paintbrush. Then we have 2 bags of plaster Paris variant, along with the Dalek mould and the TARDIS mould. Right, so let's start off by making a Dalek. I want both half of the moulds are slotted together, that is drop into the cup. And then I need to pour 1 bag of Shaker Maker mix into a cup of warm water. And the water needs to be filled up to the mark to get the mix right. I'll pour the mix in nice and steady to ensure it gets absorbed by the water. And just to help gently start off the process, I stir the mixture with the back end of a brush. Then I securely fasten both halves of the Shaker Maker. And once I'm sure it's not going to go flying off, I start my shaking. And I also give the maker a few taps on the ground, and this should help the mixture settle to the bottom. And I also give it a few taps across the edges to help release any air bubbles. This is supposed to set solid within an hour and a half. It's been 2 hours and it's still a bit moist, so I'll put it to one side. And then I repeated the same process with the TARDIS mould. When this stuff is mixed together, it's very clumpy. It doesn't feel like it's going to work. But if I follow the instructions, I can't go wrong. So once the 2 halves are securely fastened together, I'll shake it up for the recommended 30 seconds. Plus also tap it on the table a few times, as well as tapping around the edges to release the air bubbles. And when I opened it, it was pretty much a solid lump. This mixture is 20 years old and isn't behaving as it should. So push it all down and hope for the best. Unfortunately, this took 2 weeks to dry, and that was not a good sign. And you can see how badly it cracked when I try and remove it from the mould. Yep, this is going to end in disaster. Yep, just as I expected, it's a crumbled mess. And the other one turned out just as bad. So there's only one thing left to do now, that's to go out and buy some proper plaster of Paris and do this again. Well, there's my big bag of suspicious looking white powder from Amazon. Well, I'm going to be repeating the same process as you've already seen, except this time this isn't lumpy, clumpy stuff. So I have high hope for this, plus it also hardened within about an hour and a half. And the first one to open up is the Dalek. Now, I'm not a very big fan of this mould because for some reason it's only half a Dalek. And even though the cast came out perfectly, it's a very stunted Dalek. And by that I mean the back end is missing and the guns and eye stalk are very stunted. And when it came to the TARDIS, I got the mixture slightly wrong, as it started to set before I could get it all poured in. But it actually looks like a smashed up old abandoned TARDIS, so I still may be able to salvage this one. The next part came out perfectly, so I have a good TARDIS as well. The base came out a little bit thin and broke in half, but that's repairable. The first step now is to do some cleanup. Now plaster of Paris is brittle, so I have to be careful with this. Slowly but surely I remove all the flashing and make all the bases nice and level. And then I use some Gorilla Glue to repair the base. Now all that's left to do is some painting. But I'm not going to use the paint that came with this kit, I'm going to use some proper model paints. And this is the result. So I'm just sealing it in with a gloss varnish. I only have enough pre-cardboard stickers for one TARDIS, so I carefully applied them to the non-damaged one. And that also includes the big white sign. Now I wanted to put a lot more effort into these models, but unfortunately every time I handled them a bit of paint rubbed off, and this became so frustrating to fix every single time. But in my defence, I've not really worked with plaster of Paris for a great many years. It would have been nice to apply some basing, some grass and some other debris, but it just wasn't worth it. But for a child's kit, I think I've got it looking as good as it can possibly get, so that's something. And I do quite like the destroyed TARDIS, so that was a happy accident. But I'll still maintain that the Dalek itself is a little bit weird. Even though I understand why there's no extended items like the eye stalk and the gun arms, it doesn't make sense why the Dalek's been cut in half, other than to save cost with materials. As this guy only really looks like a Dalek when you're looking at it dead on. The way I see it, it kind of looks like that it's emerging out of a portal. So what do you guys think of this kit? Did you have it yourself when it first came out? Did you have the same issues when it came to painting it? Let me know down below. I'd like to know. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if I can do it, so can you.